my name is Vent, your coach of Rotoms, and aside from the ABA Season 4, I am also participating in the WSS Season 5 as well. Now, what I've heard from my friends at Manchester United and the Chelsea Flinch Club, this is a very over-competitive league. Not only that, but there are 2 replays that are done as I am recording this that make me scared to be in this league. But I'm also hype. I'm trying to keep the positivity because I know the negativity of this league that might be present. Well, not negativity, the negativity that's been shown to some of my friends has kind of dehyped me, but not fully, because we're going to kick some ass in this league. Because I'm kind of happy with what I drafted, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So, if you like this commentary, you're new to the channel, leave a like and a subscribe. Okay, that was kind of dumb. Also, be sure to show some support to other channels that are running the WSS, such as Zamcrow and Show Drive 17. If he is recording, I'll leave their channel links in the description. So without further ado, let's get started with our tier 1 pick being Zygarde 50% with, I'm going over with the abilities over here, the stats over here, and the tier 1s over here. So now what the tiers are is all of the Pokemon are separated into tiers. Tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We get to pick 1 tier 1, 1 tier 2, 2 tier 3s, 1 tier 4, and 1 tier 5. We also get to pick a Mega, so every team has to have a Mega. And we get 4 free picks, which depend on how many points we use. So let's say tier 1 is worth 180 points, tier 2 is worth 120, tier 3 is worth 100, tier 4 is with 60, and tier 5 is, okay, don't show the message again, Jesus. And tier 5 is worth 40, I believe. So our tier 1 pick, these 6 picks for tiers are completely free. And there are also S tiers, which are 220 points, but I didn't go for any of those when I was drafting. Also, the Mega tiers, depending on which Mega you draft, you will get more points added on to your free selections. So, yeah, that's kind of awesome. Anyways, starting off our draft with Zygarde 50%, Dragon Ground type with Aura Break and Power Construct as their abilities, and a notable 95 base speed, which is okay for a Dragon type. There's Dragonite that has 80 base. There's Garchomp with like a 103 base or something. But Zygarde 50% is in the middle of those. And I thoroughly enjoy using Zygarde 50%. Though I don't have any previous experience using it in draft, there are a lot of sets that I've seen people run with it, like coil sets, Dragon Dance sets, subsets, sets that are clever with 1,000 arrows. There's a lot of things you could do with this thing. I'm sure I'll find out some way to wreck house with this thing, whether it be like coil, like using it as I can't use this as a Z Captain. I'll go over Z Captains in a minute. Like what I picked as my Z Captains when I describe them. This is not one of my Z Captains, but it does get a lot of coverage in Iron Tail to cover fairies. It gets, I don't have the moveset in front of me right now, but it gets a lot of coverage from what I hear from other people. Maybe not too much, but coverage that's enough to cover most of its weaknesses. And I'm looking forward to using this thing in the WSS. Next off, we're looking at Florges. He is not one of my Z Captains. I wanted to start off a Dragon Fairy Steel Core from the get-go, because Dragon Fairy Steel Cores are essential to have in draft format. Now, I was thinking of my Steel type, but I'm not going to draft it until my first free pick. But Florges, onto Florges, I'm getting off topic. Florges might not look as good on the physical side. It does look kind of skinny, so I would picture it not having that much attack or defense. However, it is very specially fat. With the 154 base special defense, plus the fairy type, having only 2 or 3 weaknesses. I don't have the weaknesses board in front of me right now, but those 2 weaknesses that fairy has will come in handy for this Pokemon, because it synergizes very well with Zygarde, in that Zygarde itself is own weak to its own type, so Florges can resist its own type. Not only that, but most Ice-type attacks are special, barring Ice Shard, barring Icicle Crash, whatever the case may be. Florges can come in and completely wall those attacks. This also gives me a Cleric and a Wish Passer, and another option for Defog, and another Toxic Setter, something to whittle down walls while still being a wall. It can also run Protect to scout the opponent's team, which I really like. Though this is not one of my Z captains, I mean, it doesn't really get too much diversity, so that's why I chose not to make this a Z captain for the tier it's in. Anyways, I've used this Pokemon before in a lot of drafts. I have it in the ABA currently. I have it in, I don't even know if I have it in any other draft league, but I know I've used it in ABA for 2 seasons in a row, and this thing has worked well for me, so I'm happy to draft this again. And now on to our tier 3 pick, which is Darmanitan, Ooga Booga Supreme. The one we have traded away in ABA, unfortunately, but it has worked wonders for us while it was a part of our team. Abilities in Zen Mode and Sheer Force. I want to see Zen Mode be used. Who knows, I might use it one week. But anyway, Sheer Force is the ability that it's known for, because Flare Blitz, due to the sheer fact that Flare Blitz can burn, this thing's stab Flare Blitzes are a force to be reckoned with. Nobody wants to take it except Pokemon that resist it, like Pokemon that have high defense, Pokemon that resist it. You get the point. Darmanitan also gets some coverage, though it is not my Z captain. It likes to pivot with U-turn. It likes to set down Earthquakes, Superpowers, Crunches, Stone Edges. It can't set up rocks, it can't rapid spin, it can't defog, but it is an amazing attacker to compensate. And I am looking forward to using this again in the WSS. Because in this draft, I figured I would draft Pokemon that I've had experience with personally, so that I have a better shot at team building for other people. So, yeah, next, my tier 3 pick, my second tier 3 pick, my second free tier 3 pick is Shaman. Shaman is one of my Z captains for the sole reason that it gets Psychic, Air Slash, it gets Hidden Power for coverage, it gets a lot of coverage moves, especially the base 140 power Seed Flare, which has a 40% chance to lower special defense. Anyways, all 100 stats around the board, and Natural Cure is its ability. Will be great if somebody wants to wall this. It also gives me another option for a Cleric, because this thing gets Aromatherapy. And I like running Sub-Leech Seed on this thing. I like running AV, because I've run AV before. I like running the Life Orb sets, Scarf, Specs. This thing could be anything, really, because of its 100 base stats across the board. So anyways, moving on to my tier 4, I thought I needed an electric type, so this was the first electric type that came to mind, because I knew I needed special, but I really didn't want Manectric, and this thing opened my eyes more, so I picked up Electros as my electric type. Electros is an amazing Pokemon, because it gets Levitate, making it immune to ground, besides Excadrill and Mold Breaker, but I don't think anybody drafted Excadrill in this league, so I think we're safe on that note. So, 85 HP, 115 attack, and a 105 special attack. This thing is not one of my Z captains, I think it's not one of my Z captains. I think so, because Electros gets so much diversity, it's not even funny. It gets, I'm not even shitting you, it gets Flamethrower, Giga Drain, it can get Volt Switch and U-Turn, it gets Aqua Tail, Drain Punch, it gets, there's a lot of other moves that it gets. I can't name them off the top of my head. It gets the Elemental Punches, it gets, it doesn't get Earthquake, it gets, I think it gets Rock Slide and Stone Edge too. I could be wrong on that, I don't have the move list in front of me right now. But this thing has a lot of coverage. That's why I made it one of my Z captains. But this thing didn't appeal to me just for the coverage. This thing could be a setup sweeper too, because of Coil. It could be a setup sweeper. You can run, I think it gets Nasty Plot. Again, I don't have the move set in front of me. I know it gets Coil, which can increase accuracy of moves like Iron Tail and make it even more versatile when it comes to the Z moves. So this thing can very well come in handy to me in our battles and our endeavors. So So that's on a great note. Our tier 5 is Quagsire. I needed a water type to end my fire, water, and grass core of Darmanitan, Shaman, Quagsire. Overall, Shaman will be the one determining whether this is a bulky core or an offensive core. But anyways, I'm getting off topic again. Its ability in Unaware is amazing to have in draft format because it is essential, and it could check the many setup mons that I have. For my tier 4, I wanted Ditto to cover the setup mons, but Chill sniped it from me, and I despise him for it. But anyways, I'm getting off topic again. Quagsire is an amazing Pokemon. Though despite its low base stats, its Unaware ability comes in handy in the long run. You could also run Water Absorb, which can check the water weaknesses of Darmanitan, while making thus making my Fire, Water, Grass core even more versatile. The 95 base HP and the more physical side of defenses might come in handy for things like Mega Lopunny that want to lurk around our team, because I see my team is very weak to Mega Lopunny. The low speed stat isn't really too much, considering this thing is a wall and will mostly be used as a wall. It only has one weakness in grass, which will come in handy. However, we will need to be wary of grass techs, because Quagsire does not like grass moves at all. Anyways, that's it for Quagsire. I've only used this thing once in Draft League. I haven't used Electros in Draft League either. I just wanted to give them a try because they look really, really nice. I've seen people use them. I've seen people use them. I've seen people sweep with them. I've seen people wall with Quagsire, really, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and that's why I've picked these two Pokemon. Next up is my Mega, which is Pidgeot. Pidgeot was a tier 2 Mega, I believe, which gave me 40 extra points, so I had 440 points to decide on my free Pokemon. And this thing is no slouch when it comes to power because of its 135 special attack and speed, and its ability in No Guard, allowing this thing to just drop hurricanes on people like nobody's business. Not only that, the Heat Wave does have a 95% accuracy, which makes it come in very handy, especially when we're covering things like Scizor or pesky steel types that we just want to check. Anyways, Mega Pidgeot also gets Pivot in U-Turn. It also gets Tech in Air Slash, so we can flinch people. It's very, very fast, outspeeding Darkrai. What was I gonna say about it? This thing gives me 40 points in deciding free mons. In the draft stream that we did, our wingspan was too big for the screen, so we had to actually lower it to the point that it looked small. But other than that, we're getting off topic. This will be a fast flying threat that'll pretty much dent holes in anybody's team, and I am very, very well looking forward to using Mega Pidgeot. Mega Pidgeot, I love. I haven't used it in draft, but I love this Mega so much because of its very high speed stat and its pivoting abilities. Next up is Skarmory. Now, looking at my draft, I really wanted more bulk. Before Skarmory, I really wanted more bulk, especially on the physical side. This does conclude a Dragon Fairy Steel core, Zygarde 50%, Florges, and Skarmory. Very bulky, rather, because if Zygarde runs like a physically defensive coil set, Florges runs specially defensive, it can very well synergize and make a very threatening stall core. Especially with its ability in Sturdy, allowing it to not be O-code if it is at full health. It is very bulky with that 140 death, and 65 HP may seem a little low, but its physical bulk makes up for it in the long run. The 80 attack isn't really used too often, as this is used to set up stealth rocks, while roosting up and whirlwinding and taunting everything that wants to wish. And this thing also gets taunt just in case anybody else wants to set up or do some kinky stuff on my team, like Will-O-Wisps and Thunder Waves. So, yeah, I really like to see what this thing can do. I haven't used this thing in draft format at all, so this will be a learning experience for me. This entire league is a learning experience for me now that I think about it. Anyways, I'm going off topic again. Next Pokemon is Chansey on the roster. It does get two good abilities in Natural Cure and Serene Grace, but the one we're going to be using the most is definitely Natural Cure. Now, despite me having a Florges, The Zygarde and the Skarmory had good physical defense, but I figured I needed something on the special side. So Chansey makes up for it with his base 250 balls HP, with complemented by a 105 special defense. This thing also gets access to Eviolite, which is an item that increases the Pokemon's defense and special defense by 1.5x. So it makes the defenses look intimidating with the 250 HP. So it could munch up some physical attacks too, but it is pretty much only limited to one moveset, unless I run Serene Grace, like Serene Grace Ice Beam or something, packed it for the freeze. And Natural Cure is also good. It also gives me another option for a Wish Passer. It gives me another option for a Clerics. It gets Aromatherapy and Heal Bell. Though it is very vulnerable to Taunt, we will still need to be wary of it. But despite that, Chansey is a very nice addition to our team. I haven't used this thing in draft format. I've only used it in regular OU, which I found it to be very helpful in. But either way, I am very happy with the Chansey pick. Now, I wanted something that could do some kinky stuff to our team for their team for the next free pick. So Tier 4 Sableye was my choice. Especially with its ability in Prankster, it can get off Prankster Will-O-Wisps. It could trick people Lagging Tail. It can give people a Lagging Tail. It can get free burns. It can get priority like Reflects, Light Screens if it does get it. Even on the attacking side, this thing is no slouch either because it gets Fake Out. Even though, despite this thing having the lowest base stat total in my team, this thing will do loads and loads of work to the other team by allowing it to get out quick Will-O-Wisps. Even Megalopods won't one-shot this thing after a priority Will-O-Wisp if it hits. Sableye's priority also allows it to be even more versatile depending on what moves I give it, and I am very happy to draft Sableye. I have used this thing in draft format before actually, and it's really done some kinky stuff to the other person's team. Like I've ran Nightshade sets on this before. I've run Foul Play. I don't even know what other moves it's capable of, but hopefully I'll learn a thing or two from this league again. Next off is my last pick. Now, for my last pick, it was the hardest one for me to decide. I looked at all of my Pokemon, noticed I didn't have a fighting type, so my last Pokemon is going to be Mienshao. Now, in Tier 3. I'm surprised this thing wasn't drafted. Honestly, I thought this thing was going to go very, very quickly, especially with its great abilities in Regenerator and Reckless. I could use it as a Regenerator pivot or Reckless boosted Hydro Kick user. But Protect will be fairly common in this draft league, so I'm very sketchy about running Protect. I'm very sketchy about running Hydro Kick. You will see that I am very sketchy about running Hydro Kick in this league. I know I'm notorious for using my pivots. I have a slow pivot in Electros and fast pivoters in Darmanitan. I have a fast pivoter in Pidgeot. I have a fast pivoter in Mienshao, and a Regenerator ability to complement it. So I can't wait to use this team in the WSS. Zygarde 50%, Florges, Darmanitan, Shaman, Electros, Quagsire, Pidgeot, Skarmory, Chansey, Sableye, and Mienshao. Skarmory Chansey is a good Stalkor. I like my Darmanitan, Shaman, Quagsire, Fire, Water, Grass. And I really like my Zygarde 50, Florges, and Skarmory, Dragon Fairy, Steel. It's going to be a very, very stally team, while having the hint of offense that it needs to shine over others. Though it doesn't really have any special offensive presence aside from Shaman and possibly Electros. I think this team will do at least well in this league. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching and sticking with us until the end. Again, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and a comment. Also, you can subscribe because subscribers inspire me to upload more videos on this channel. So, I will leave you guys there. We'll see you week 1 on the team building video where we build for Rainbow Taco, coach of the Adelaide Haunch Crows. I'll see you guys then.